Hey, it's true. A couple days ago, I was on another video sharing app, the one that started out with more long form and has added short form. Um, oops. Initials are YT. And there is over there a creator who started here on TikTok, and I love his stuff. You should check him out. It's Jake Does Stuff. He's funny. Anyway, so he was talking about soul swapping, or I think that's what it was called, but basically where you're suddenly not in the same body you were in. And he asked if there was anybody who had an experience. Well, I took a time and I typed out a couple paragraphs worth of an answer because he wanted to know if anybody had experienced something similar. I shared my story. Oddly, the comments disappeared. He and I even talked. I'm like, I know I shared that, but it's not here. He said, yeah. And the weird thing is, it says I have 4 comments, but I only see 3. So why did it disappear? So here we go. I'm going to try and tell the story here. It's a little freaky. It's not my usual post, but a lot of weird stuff happens to me that I haven't posted about. Maybe I'll start posting my weird, freaky stuff. All right. So, and it is Gen X related because it happened in the 80s when I was a teenager. It was about 86, somewhere between 86 and 88. I was a teenager. I was asleep in bed, dreaming along, how dreams go, doing dream stuff. And suddenly, for no good reason, the dream changed. And it just was like whoosh. And everything, like in dreams, I don't always feel the wind and stuff, but I felt the wind. It was cold across my face. It was blowing. I was on top of some building, I thought, and it was dark out, and there was a woman laying on the ground who had been, and she was no longer with us. And there was a man who had a hold of me, yelling profanities into my face, and he had, what another creator on here, I love this term, calls a cordless stapler pointed at my head and asking me, do you want to, like she did? And I don't remember saying anything. I knew I wasn't in my own body, but I knew that I knew the lady on the ground. She was a friend of mine. He's like, do you want to go like she did? The next thing I knew, he went ahead and activated his cordless stapler, and I woke up in my bed with a horrid migraine. So at the time, I did experience migraines, but not like this. It was weird. So I got up and I meandered my sorry little butt into our kitchen where we kept the pain care cabinet, where we had our medicine cabinet, and I opened it up and got out some Excedrin migraine, and I happened to look over at the microwave. It was around 3:15, 3:20, give or take. Anyway, so I took the headache medicine and went back to bed. Now we had an early morning class that we had to get up for church before we went to school. So I was up again in a couple hours at 6 o'clock. It's about 6:30. I get up. My mom's already up. The news is on. And what do I hear coming across the news as I'm walking into our living room is there had been, on top of a hospital, an ending of 2 women. And one of them had been ended in the head. And I said, hey, that happened to me last night. And it was around the same time that they say that this thing had happened on the TV. And it was at a big city nearby. I can't remember if it was Terre Haute or Indianapolis, one of those. And I was more rural and I lived at least 45 minutes from either of those, 2 hours from Indy. Anyway, so it freaked me out. And then they show the face of the guy who did this, and it's the same guy. And I'm changing colors, I'm pale, and my mom's like, what? And I go, that's him. I dreamt this. This happened. So I don't know if I replaced her because she couldn't deal at the time. So I was there until until it happened, and then boom, I was put back in my own body. I can't explain it. It did happen. Again, I went looking online at one point to see which city it was, and I couldn't find it, but I don't really, again, I'm not positive which year it was because I was in high school, but it happened. It was freaky, and it's something I will never forget. And I to this day I can see the man. He had red hair. It was weird. But that's my story. Jake, if you see this is the story I had. My soul, I feel, switched places with her for a time so that she didn't have to be there. She was, I don't know. I dealt with it because but I knew it wasn't a dream. It was so freaky. Anyway, bye from True. See ya.